When you reinvest in ULTY, when you automatically drip your dividends back into the fund, are you overpaying for those shares? Are you buying them at a premium? That's the question I'm going to answer in this video. Now, how did this come about? This was actually a question that a Twitter user asked of the ULTY managers on a Spaces call. And when I first heard the question, I misinterpreted it. I thought the user was asking if you could simply auto-reinvest your dividends into ULTY. And I believe the yieldmax representative also misunderstood it. I'm going to play it for you so you can take a listen.
I got a long-time listeners here. He said, I'm interested in hearing if you guys have considered enabling or offering dripping at the NAV for your ETFs for the brokerages that support that. Seems like a great way you could increase your competitive edge. Michael Code, Josh, you guys got any thoughts on that one?
Josh, you're the one that has the relationship with the hoods of the world.
Yeah, so let me just clarify the question. So it's just saying like an automatic reinvestment strategy?
Yeah, for any brokerages that support that. I'm curious. Yeah, I guess that's what it would be.
I mean, I think that it's really up to the investor to decide what they need the income for, right? A lot of people who invest in yield max funds use that income for various different reasons, to pay bills or to put into a different type of investment. I think that's something that pretty much every broker that I've ever used offers. Certainly is a good strategy if you're looking to accumulate a larger position in one of our funds.
Now, what I didn't pick up on was that the user had actually asked if you could reinvest at the NAV, not the price. And thankfully, one of the viewers on my channel pointed this out, so I'm going to throw up his comment there. So shout out to the Rusty Garage, who pointed out that the question was really reinvesting at the NAV and not the market price. So I decided to look further into this and see what would be the effect if you invested at the NAV of the fund and not the market price. So I've got this comparison up here. On the left and in the blue is what happens when you invest at the market price. And on the right and in the green is what happens when you invest at the NAV price. Now, sometimes ETFs do trade at a premium or discount. If they are trading at a premium, that means the price of the ETF is higher than the actual NAV, or the assets divided by shares, in the fund. Now, ULTY publishes this on their website. You can go to the premium discount percentage, and right now you see it's discounted by 0.41 and it's negative. So that means it's discount, meaning the price is actually below the NAV. So the price you pay is less than if you took all the assets and divided it by the shares. Now, if it's trading in the positive, if this is a positive number, it's trading at a premium, meaning the price is more than the NAV, So they publish that, and they also give you the option to download the premium discount here. Unfortunately, it only goes up to June 30th, 2025 right now, but you can see where it's traded above or below, and they have the statistics here. So in 2024, it traded at a premium 157 days, and it traded at net asset value for 2 days and a discount at 54 days. And then for the first half of 2025, a premium of 89 days, only traded at NAV 1 day, and 33 days traded at a discount. So we're going to add those numbers in and sum them up. So we'll do it right here. So how many days did it trade at a discount? That was 54 plus 33. And how many did it trade at a premium? I think it was 157 plus 89. And I think it was just 3 days where it traded at NAV or par. So there you have it there. Now let's see what happens using a pretty simple example. We're not going to use the actual ULTY share price, but maybe we'll do it in another video. So initial shares, let's say you had 10, and let's say that the dividend per share was $1. And so your total dividend income is going to be $10. You're going to reinvest $10, and the share price or the market price right now is $100. So your new shares bought is going to be the reinvestment amount divided by the share price. So you're going to buy 0.1 share, and your new share count is going to be 10.1. Now, let's assume that ULTY trades at a 0.18% premium. And I'm getting 0.18 because I think the last time I checked the website when it was trading at a premium, it was 0.18. So I don't have the numbers there. You see, they give you the graph, but you can't really tell what the average is. It's just a graph. If you guys know where to find it, feel free to drop that in the comments below and let me know. But you can see for, basis points here. So a couple times it's traded over 1%. 100 basis points is 1%. So it's traded over 1% at a premium, but it seems to be somewhere between 0 and 100 with occasional spikes above 1% there. And then one occasional spike almost trading at a discount, probably around Liberation Day when the tariffs were announced, around that market downturn there. So let's go back here and go to the NAV reinvestment. So you will have the same number of shares, 10, and the same dividend amount of $1, and same dividend income of $10, same reinvestment amount of $10. But now we are going to basically say that because this $100 is actually at a 0.18% premium, we need to find out what the actual NAV is. So for that, we're just going to do 1 minus 0.18 and then multiply that by 100 to get what the actual NAV is. Right there. Okay, so the actual NAV is $99.82. So the new shares bought is 0.10018 and then some more numbers. And so your new share count is slightly higher because you're buying the new shares at a discount instead of buying them at the market price. Now you can probably eyeball it that in percentage terms, it's not a huge difference, but let's call these 0.00018 shares phantom shares because you don't actually get them. Let's call them phantom shares and see how many roughly you would have gotten. So I've got all the ULTY distributions here since inception, and total that is 52. So how many dividends has ULTY paid? 52 there. And so the phantom shares is basically taking the difference in the share amount, the 0.000018 times 52, and you get 0.009 more shares. And if you multiply those phantom shares by the current price of $100, almost $1, and that's the value of the shares that you're missing out on. So almost 1% of the current price. Now, the big caveat there is I didn't take into account the compounding factor. This was just if you multiplied it each time, not what would happen if one day you have 10.10018, and then on the next dividend, you increase that by slightly more, and the dividend after, it's slightly more each time. I didn't do that because this gets pretty complicated to do. I mean, I guess it's probably doable in Excel, and maybe I'll do it later, but I'd have to double check the work there. And you just don't know how many times on the pay date that it traded at a premium or it traded at a discount. Like how many of these days were discount days versus premium days. So maybe it all evens out in the end. I'm inclined to think that, let's see, how many days did ULTY basically trade? How many are we talking here? 336 days of trading, and of those 87 were at a discount, so that's 25%, and 246 days of trading, 73% were traded at a premium, and then looks like less than 1%. Let me make this bigger for y'all. 0.89% it traded at par. So how many of these pay dates here was ULTY trading at a premium? That could matter. If they were all at a premium, then you've missed out on some phantom shares. But if on all of these 82 days, if they had just all happened to be dates where ULTY traded at a discount, then maybe you got more shares because if they reinvested at the market price, that was lower than the NAV, so they bought more shares. So you just don't know, and it's not like you can go and get those back or anything. But interesting question that was brought up by the user on X. And again, shout out to the Rusty Garage for kind of clarifying that for me. I definitely learned something, and hopefully that question gets asked again on the spaces and we can get a solid answer on that, because it is an interesting thing and something that, I shouldn't have to do, but the fund managers should probably go back and kind of analyze and figure out, okay, do the stockholders, is this something they want? If you want it, if you hold ULTY and you want it, give this video a like or comment, and maybe they'll see it. So thanks everyone for watching. Hope you have a good day, and see you in another video.